Thank you. I am Teresa Gorski with DuPont from Midland, Michigan, United States. I am very pleased to be here with you today and with Quimica San Diego to present to you how DuPont Liveo silicone topical excipients can be used for topical drug delivery, for sensory aesthetics, as well as drug delivery. In regards to DuPont, who are we? Where did we come from? We came from, originally, 1943, Dow Chemical and Dow Corning Corporation had a very strong partnership for over 70 years. After 70 years, in 2016, Dow Chemical bought out the stocks from Dow Corning, and we became solely Dow Chemical Company. In 2017, very shortly thereafter, DuPont and Dow Chemical merged together with the idea that they were always going to separate into 3 separate companies. That happened in 2019, and we became DuPont Specialty Products, and that is where the DuPont Liveo silicones reside. There is also Dow Chemical, Material Science, as well as Corteva, the agricultural department of the chemical companies. In 2020, because Dow Corning no longer existed and we could no longer use that brand name, we launched a new brand, and that is DuPont Liveo Silicone Materials. DuPont Liveo has a very global presence. We have a dedicated manufacturing facility in Hemlock, Michigan, with a second manufacturing facility in Cooper River, South Carolina. We have 3 technical specialty departments. There's one in the US, where I come from, one in Europe, and one in Asia. On top of that, we have regulatory support centers in all of those areas as well. So basically, we support our customers globally as well as locally. DuPont Liveo Healthcare Solutions covers 3 different market segments. We cover biopharma with our silicone tubing for fluid transport, as well as antifoams that are used in bioprocessing. We also have medical devices. We have elastomers, soft skin adhesives. We have pressure-sensitive adhesives that are used in wound and ostomy care, as well as attaching electronic and medical devices to the patient. But today we're going to be talking about pharma solutions. In pharma solutions, we have topical and transdermal and mucosal drug delivery. So we have silicone excipients that help in those areas, as well as GI or gastrointestinal actives, such as simethicone. Right now, we're going to focus on our DuPont Liveo expertise in formulations. We have very strong expertise in formulating from concept all the way up to scale-up in commercial products. Our topical drug delivery expertise includes the formulating. We are very strong in stabilizing sensitive APIs in formulations. We overcome API stability issues with our silicone excipients. Testing and analytical services include characterizing our excipients as well as the APIs. We do stability testing, and we also have formulation performance. So we look at the formulations and how they perform from their functionalities and characteristics on the skin. One of our very strong specialty expertise is with difficult materials from a flammability or volatility standpoint. A lot of customers are not able to handle highly flammable materials. We do have the facilities, and we are able to do that. We also have the expertise in working with extremely high viscosity or extremely low viscosity materials. And also, silicone excipients in many cases can help with poorly soluble ingredients in the formulation. So when it comes to topical drug delivery, you have consumer healthcare or over-the-counter applications, all the way up to pharmaceutical prescription. As you go up the arrow to the right into the pharmaceutical world, of course, the regulatory requirements are increased. We at DuPont help support you with our regulatory expertise and our documentation that we provide to help you bring your product registered and to the market. Regardless of what products you have and where you fall on this scale, when it comes to topical drug delivery, there are 4 major needs that we acknowledge. First of all, you have to make sure that the excipients are safe for topical application. Silicones have a very strong profile to be safe and biocompatible. Next, you want ease of formulation. Silicones can be used mostly in cold processing, so you don't have to add heat and additional time. You want targeted drug delivery. Where do you want the API to be? Do you want it to sit on top of the skin to treat local conditions, or would you like it to go through the skin and more systemic? Finally, efficacy and compliance is extremely important when it comes to patients. The better a product feels on the skin and is able to deliver the drug, the higher the patient compliance. The key markets and scope that we focus on in Liveo topical ingredients are scar treatment, atopic dermatitis, rosacea, psoriasis, skin cancer, pain management, acne, and fungal infection. All of these dermatological conditions affect hundreds and thousands of people across the world and are very, very important and significant conditions. As I had mentioned, we do have a dedicated healthcare manufacturing site that is located in Hemlock, Michigan. That site is registered with the FDA as a drug establishment, and it is audited by the FDA. We follow the quality systems, CGMPs, that relates to lot traceability, change control, customer notification, contamination control, and of course, we are ISO 9001. All of the topical excipients that I will be talking about today are supplied from this facility. For testing capabilities, of course, we look at the physical properties of all of our excipients. That would be the volatility, the viscosity, optical microscope to make sure that the drug is not crystallizing on the skin. Application and product development, we already talked about how we can formulate from concept, scale up, all the way to commercial. We do have stability testing, which is done under controlled humidity and temperature. And we do drug release and penetration studies. So you can formulate a really nice formulation. The important thing is to make sure that that drug is released from the formulation either to or through the skin. So we test that using our Franz diffusion cell system. We do that with human cadaver skin or piglet skin. And then from a formulation performance, it's not just drug delivery. We look at sensory performance as well. So we have a sensory panel where they take a commercial product and our prototype formulation, apply them to the skin, and compare them for different parameters like greasy, tacky, spreadability. All of those parameters are important from a sensory perspective. We also do skin biometry testing. That is testing the hydration of the skin. We look at the sebum content, elasticity, and a few other parameters depending on what you want the formulation to do. Many of our products do offer wash-off resistance from a substantivity over time, as well as substantivity after several washes. This is an example of some of the testing that we have available and that we use on our formulations. We test with the texture analyzer. And what that does is look at strength, force, friction, spreadability, stickiness. We have a UPLC that's used to look at the specific active in the different species. We have a spectro UV vis, also used to look at the active in different species. A viscosimeter, a microscope, as well as doing contact angle testing. From a drug delivery perspective, the most important test that we can do is the skin permeation or penetration studies using the Franz automated cell equipment. We also test for occlusivity. That is, how does it allow the skin to breathe? We look at the rate of water evaporation from the skin to ensure that the formulation is allowing the skin to breathe. We have film barrier integrity to look at the integrity of the barrier of the formulation on the skin. We look at film durability, film flexibility, as well as tackiness of a formulation using our texture analyzer. From an in vivo perspective, I mentioned that we test the skin for moisturization. We do that with a corneometer. We look at transepidermal water loss, so checking the skin barrier characteristics or functionality. We do sebum measurements. That's especially important if you're developing an acne formulation or something that's going to be used on the face. And then we do the substantivity testing using FTIR. So we look at the amount of silicone or drug that is left on the skin over time and after several washes. And finally, we have the sensory evaluation, where we look at our formulation compared to a commercial benchmark, and our panelists will determine the parameters, whether one is more greasy, tacky, spreading easier than the other. We do have prototype formulations. So we have formulated with silicone and other organic excipients. We develop these prototype formulations to share with you, the customer. When we do that, we also share our formulation sheet. So the formulation sheet will have all of the ingredients that we used and the percent that it was used in the formulation, with the procedure and how to make it, the characteristics and what you can expect in the final product. And then on the flip side of the sheet, we provide all the data that we collected. Depending on the formulation, we will run different tests. For this particular formulation, we looked at how the drug was delivered through the dermatome pig skin. We looked at occlusivity, substantivity, and skin hydration. So we provide all of this to you, the customer, at your request, which will help you then take that prototype formulation as a starting point, and then you can add and manipulate it as desired. Besides our formulation and functional expertise, we are really proud of our regulatory and documentation support. When it comes to our topical excipients, we have infrared identification on each batch of material. We have monograph testing when applicable. We do an elemental impurity test according to ICH Q3D, which is for the pharmaceuticals. We provide a summary of health data. And in many cases, our excipients have either drug master files or technical files that you can then use to help you register your product on the market. Now I'd like to share with you our silicone offering and what our toolbox looks like. This is our Silicone Liveo family. We offer fluids, both volatile as well as non-volatile. We have gum blends, cross-linked polymer blends, and a few resin blends as well. When you look at sustainability, what we're trying to do is formulate new formulations and new materials that stay below the threshold for cyclics. Cyclics like D4, D5, D6 are now, for Europe, on the REACH substances of very high concern list. So we take that into consideration when we're developing new materials. So hopefully I've shown you the versatility of silicone. The chemistry provides you, the formulator, with a wide range of technologies, different characteristics, functionalities. And silicones are innovative solutions to help with drug delivery and aesthetics. And with the aesthetics, hopefully to improve and increase the patient compliance. And that's really all that we are interested in, right? Whether you are a supplier or a pharma company, the end result is that our patients comply with the treatment and that they get an increased improvement with their skin. So let's do a little bit of chemistry. Not too much, just a little bit. What are silicones? Silicones are very unique in that they are considered both organic as well as inorganic. Silicone fluid, or dimethicone, is polydimethylsiloxane, or PDMS. It is a straight chain linear. The inorganic portion is a silicon oxygen backbone, and the organic portion are the methyl groups on the ends. The side groups, or the methyl groups, help with the hydrophobicity, or water repellency, and the low surface tension allows for great spreading and wetting capabilities. Silicones have been used in personal care more than 70 years. Color cosmetics, skin care, hair care, sun care. And in 2004, which I realize is about 20 years ago, over 50% of new skincare formulations had silicone as an ingredient. Why would you use silicone in a topical formulation? For the sensory aesthetics, like the dry, smooth feel, non-greasy, non-stinging, high spreadability. But then from a functionality perspective as well. Depending on the silicone that you use and the viscosity that you use, you can tailor these different functionalities. You can get wash-off resistance, skin protection using our dimethicone, moisturization, emolliency, and finally, enhancing active efficiency. I have a few slides a little bit later in the presentation that's going to show you what I mean by that. What is an excipient? I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Not everybody uses that terminology. An excipient is something that is in a formulation other than the active pharmaceutical ingredient that has been tested appropriately for safety and is intentionally included in a formulation. Silicone is a great excipient. So we already talked about the benefits. I just want to highlight the fact that using silicone in a topical formulation may actually improve the efficacy of drug delivery depending on the API. Of course, we know silicones offer great sensory and aesthetic benefits, which will help in patient compliance. And finally, with processing flexibility, silicones can be used in cold processing. You do not have to add heat. And we provide prototype formulations, whether it's a gel, cream, lotion, ointment, for you as a customer to have a starting point, and then you can taper that to your desired characteristics. All right, here's the data. When it comes to silicones helping in drug delivery, here we did a study. We took a commercial benchmark product. That was a anhydrous gel that is on the market that contains 5% ibuprofen. We made a formulation very similar to that formulation, except for we added some silicone elastomer blend. By adding the silicone elastomer blend and keeping the ibuprofen still at 5%, we were able to deliver much more ibuprofen immediately within the first 30 minutes, which is when you want something to work for pain. And we were able to deliver increasingly more over time and sustain that for over 8 hours as compared to the commercial benchmark. We do have a white paper and the data that we can share with you if you're interested. So since we were able to prove that we had increased delivery of ibuprofen at 5%, we thought, what if we take that percent of drug down a little bit in the silicone formulations? So we did that. We decreased the amount of ibuprofen from 4%, 3%, down to even 2%. We kept the commercial benchmark at 5% ibuprofen, and even at 2% here in the green line, we were able to deliver more ibuprofen to the skin. What that means to a customer is less API, means you're saving money, right? But then for the patient, it means less API going through their system and still getting the same benefit. Now I'm going to go into more of the product lines individually and give you detail about what those are. We'll look at silicone fluids. We do have volatile silicone fluids, both linear and cyclics. They are a volatile carrier in many formulations. They are a detachifier, no residue, no stain, no sting, very much used in spray formulations as well as a carrier in solid formulations. Here is a little graph that's going to show you the different volatility of different materials. I don't know if you can see this real well, but the distilled water is in the dark blue. And our 9180.65 hexamethyl disiloxane is very much more volatile than water and even more volatile than ethanol. As you go up here, you can see our D5, D5 and D6, and finally D6, just showing you the versatility and the difference in volatility of our materials. For our linears, for our volatile materials, we have Q79180 that comes in two different viscosities, 0.65 as well as 1 centistoke. The main benefits of both of these materials are the same. They have a fast evaporation rate, smooth, non-greasy feel, excellent carrier for spray, great spreading agent. The only main difference with these two viscosities is that the 1 centistoke is a little less volatile and a little bit easier to work with in a manufacturing facility. We also have cyclics for volatile materials. We have cyclomethicone 5NF, which it complies with the national formulary. That is cyclopentasiloxane, or otherwise known as D5. And we also have ST cyclomethicone 5,6-NF. 5,6-NF is a combination of D5 and D6 together. Both of these materials offer the same main benefits. That would be compatible with a large range of lipophilic products such as mineral oil, petrolatum, lipophilic sun filters. Great spreadability, leaves behind a soft and silky feel. And the only difference here again is that the D5, D6 is less volatile and easier to work with than the D5. This table shows you a few of the physical properties of both of those materials. And actually of all four materials that I just covered. I want to point out the flash point. So the Q79180, 0.65 centistoke, the flash point is -3 degrees Celsius. You go all the way up to our D5 and D6, the cyclomethicone 5,6-NF, and you're looking at an 87 degrees Celsius flash point. So it's a wide range here. Next, we'll jump into the non-volatile linear silicone fluid. That silicone fluid for DuPont Liveo is our Q79120. Q79120 is tested and complies with the US monograph, so it's an NF grade material. And it also is tested and complies with the U.S. skin protectancy monograph as well. So if you have a product where you would like to claim skin protectancy and you use Q79180, you can list it as an active ingredient and claim skin protectancy. Some of the main benefits of Q79120 in a formulation depends on the viscosity that you use. It gives a great sensory profile. The higher the viscosity, the greater the substantivity, meaning longer lasting on the skin, and the greater lubrication that you get. The lower the viscosity, the better spreadability. So it just depends on what you're looking for from a property or characteristic. This is an example of where dimethicone has been used in dermatology applications or products on the market today. This is a brand name of the product, the active that has been used, anywhere from an antifungal, tretinoin, coal tar. The indication, of course, that goes anywhere from antiviral, anti-aging, psoriasis, and then the company that manufactured these final products, and whether they're OTC or prescription. So this just goes to show you that silicone is very well used in the dermatology field. Next, I'm going to discuss our gum blends. A silicone gum blend is a high molecular weight dimethicone. It's dispersed in either a volatile or non-volatile carrier. The functional formulation benefits: silicone gums make an excellent film former on the skin. They provide substantivity, long-lasting benefits, good wash-off resistance, and can be used as a thickener in water and oil emulsions. The silicone gum blend that we have in our portfolio is our dimethiconal blend 20. What that is dimethicone and dimethiconal. The dimethicone is 20 centistoke. Dimethiconal is a non-volatile carrier. These together give that nice film-forming agent. And even though it is a film-forming agent, it still allows the skin to breathe. It gives a nice lubricious feel, improves substantivity or long-lasting on the skin, and provides that nice silky smooth feeling that you expect from a silicone material. Next is our silicone elastomers. This has to be by far one of my very favorite products in our portfolio. I don't know if you're familiar with silicone elastomer blends, but what they are, if you think about little silicone rubber pieces that are swollen in a solvent. That solvent can be either non-volatile or volatile. And what happens is you get some cross-linking happening, a very neat elastomeric network. And this provides a unique gel-like material. This material is used in a formulation for the aesthetics. This is one of the materials that provides that really unique, dry, smooth feel on the skin. No greasiness, no tackiness. It has non-occlusive or semi-occlusive properties depending on the solvent. What that means is the skin can still breathe. It does have a matte effect. So this is a good one to use if you have any facial skincare or acne-type formulations. And it can be used as a rheology modifier to thicken silicone, water, and oil emulsions. Our offering includes 3 materials. ST Elastomer 10 is a combination of cyclopentasiloxane and dimethicone cross-polymer. Basically what that is again the silicone rubber pieces that are swollen in cyclopentasiloxane or D5. This gives that nice smooth feeling, thickening agent, non-occlusive. 2 brand new products that we just brought to market are our TE9320 and TE9330. The only difference in these products as compared to the Elastomer 10 is the carrier. We Instead of using cyclopentasiloxane, in 9320, we used dimethicone at 2 centistoke. 9330, we used dimethicone at 5 centistoke. What this does is basically give all the same main benefits that you would expect from a silicone-elastomer blend, but it lowers the content or the percent of cyclics that are in the formulation. So remember I mentioned D4, D5, and D6. Those materials are listed on the substances of very high concern for Europe REACH regulations. To give customers a choice, we made these new formulations so that they contain less than 0.1% of those cyclic materials. I have a prototype formulation that I really like to show off. I don't have it here with me to physically show you, but we do have formulation 1704. And what this is a combination of petrolatum and silicone-elastomer blend. A very simple formulation, right? The reason why I did that is we're all familiar with ointments. We're familiar with petrolatum-based ointments and how they feel on the skin. Basically, they don't feel very good. They can be greasy, tacky. Patients don't really like to use them. By adding some silicone-elastomer blend, we're able to have enhanced sensory profile. We get rid of the tackiness and the greasiness, better spreadability, smoother afterfeel, and it is an occlusive formulation. One of the reasons that petrolatum is used is for its occlusiveness. We maintain that occlusiveness, but yet enhance the sensory profile. This is what that formulation looks like. Here we have the placebo with no drug. It's just 70% petrolatum with 30% ST-elastomer 10. We also loaded it with lidocaine. When we did that, we dropped the percent of both the petrolatum and the silicone-elastomer blend. We added isopropyl myristate to help dissolve the lidocaine. And then we did a little bit of drug delivery testing. This is showing proven in vitro skin penetration of the lidocaine from the formulation. This was done through dermatome pig skin. The quick spread ointment, 1704, is in the green. The commercial benchmark is in the pink. Here is the cumulative penetration amount. You can see it's very similar, if not almost identical. And also the absorption rate through dermatome pig skin. Again, it's showing you the same curve here, showing that our silicone formulation performs just as well as the commercial benchmark. With that said, we were still able to enhance the sensory profile. We have better spreadability in the green, faster absorption, and less perception or greater perception of wetness. After it's rubbed in, the formulation on the skin, the panelists have found it to be reduced tackiness, smoother afterfeel, less film residue. All the while, we're maintaining that same occlusivity that you expect from an ointment. You can see here the petrolatum in the red and our silicone-elastomer blend petrolatum formulation in the green. Offers the same occlusivity as compared to membrane with no formulation. Moving on to our silicone resin blends. The silicone resin blends are a blend of a solid MQ resin that is dissolved in a solvent. That solvent can be volatile or non-volatile. It can also be silicone or non-silicone. Why would you want this in a topical formulation? It is an excellent film former. It allows the skin to breathe. It provides long-lasting and wash-off resistance. We consider this a technology platform. Our two newest developments or new launches that we just came out with are these two silicone resin blends. We have TE9720 and TE9721. The main difference between these formulations is the carrier. In 9720, we use dimethicone 100 centistoke. In 9721, the solvent is capromethicone. They offer the same film-forming, wash-off resistant benefits. However, by using capromethicone, you now increase the compatibility to organic ingredients. We can use different percent solids. We can also use different solvents. Depending on the customer's interest and needs, we can use different organic solvents and different viscosity dimethicones. So really, it's a technology that we're able to change according to what your needs are. And this very busy table is going to show you all the benefits, whether or not you use 20% solid up to 50% solid. You can change the carrier fluid from silicone volatiles, silicone non-volatiles, organic materials, a capromethicone, different materials here. And depending on how you change it up, will change the functionality or the characteristics. If you want more film integrity, you're going to use one of these materials. If you want greater rub-off resistance, you can see here the isododecane would be a great carrier. We've tested anywhere from 20% up to 50% solids. So you can taper the combination of materials to get the desired properties. And we're happy to do that for you. In conclusion, DuPont Liveo offers great functional expertise, technical expertise. We have a great history in using silicones in drug delivery. We have a deep understanding of the topical market. We have the know-how to formulate and stabilize sensitive drugs. And we really want to cooperate with you and be your partner of choice when it comes to silicone excipients for your topical drug delivery formulations. We are interested in doing custom blending. So if you have a situation where maybe you would like to use a highly flammable or volatile material, maybe high viscosity, low viscosity, we're more than happy to take a look at that and customize a formulation for you.